Hey everybody, it's Rob Thivner, Lizard Skins Fishing Team, here with another Pros Pointers, a how-to video on how to fish offshore structure for bass fishing. You may ask, what is offshore structure? Offshore structure can consist of flats, rock flats, humps, points, stumps, anything offshore that can hold fish. And one of the methods that I use is a football head jig. And not just any football head jig, but a custom kicker red zone. You find that at customkickerjigs.com. Before I show you that, if you have any kind of expensive rods, something to invest in is a good rod sleeve. What I use is Elite rod sleeves. The mesh is tighter. Your rod guides won't get caught up in the mesh. And it also has this little tab here. If you're like me and have a lot of rods, a lot of times you don't remember what size line is on each rod, so this little tab allows you to write the size line or whatever other information you have to go along with it, and it can be erased, depending on if you change rods or not. But it's one thing I like to have on all my rods. But to get back to the red zone jig from Custom Kicker Jigs, I usually like to stick with my greens and browns up here on my home lake. A lot of the Midwest lakes, you want to match the hatch, so different colored crawdads for different lakes, different times of the year. I like to stick with my more natural colors, my greens and my browns. The water's dirtier, go darker colors, black and blue, and I like it. I like to match it with a Venom Lures beaver, real good soft plastic as a trailer. These jigs are hand painted. They're copper wire tied. You don't have to worry about that collar giving away and dry rotting. It's a living rubber skirt, so the Gamakatsu hook. It's a good quality jig, and when an ounce counts in these tournaments, you want the best jig on the end of your line that money can buy. So check them out. And what I like to do, I'll throw a ½ ounce in anywhere from 5 to 15 foot of water, depending on the wind and the current. If I'm a little deeper, I'll go a little heavier, 3/4 ounce, 1 ounce. But this is a ½ ounce custom kicker red zone. I have 17-pound Vicious fishing line on it. It's fluorocarbon. I have a 7-foot Legend Tournament St. Croix rod. It has good backbone. Go 7.5 foot. It allows you to set the hook. When you have a lot of line out, the more rod you have, it means you'll have a better hook set. So I like a 6.3, anywhere from 6.3 to 7:1 gear ratioed reel. Gets the line up a little bit quicker, and when you have that much line out, it allows you to respond much faster. But I'll show you how I fish that, and it's different ways for different times of the year. When it's a little cooler, I'll fish this jig a little slower. Right now we're on one of the flats here on my local lake, and what I'll do is make a big long cast. Just throw it out there. When it hits the water, I want to feed it line. Let that jig drop straight down, because you want to keep that jig in the strike zone longer. If you engage the reel, it'll pendulum back to you and you'll miss out on that strike zone. So throwing it out there and feeding it line will allow that thing to drop straight to the bottom. Now I like to keep my rod tip up and work it. Colder water, I'll work it slower. Faster water, or warmer water, I'll work it a little faster. I'll crawl it along the bottom, bumping into rocks, stumps. In the summertime, I'll rip it off the bottom, jump it off the bottom, get that reaction strike. Let the fish tell you the way they want it. So don't be afraid to try different methods. Your boat position is important. When you're on different bodies of water, different impoundments, they may be drawing water. So don't be afraid to position your boat in different places and try to fan cast and find that sweet spot. But the bite will be anywhere from the fish slamming into it, or it could be a mushy bite. So, You know, don't be afraid to set the hook if something feels funny. I'll throw it out, feed it line. Colder water, a lot of times they'll just mouth the bait. So if you feel any kind of pressure or any kind of sluggishness, then set the hook. Summertime, don't be afraid to rip that thing off the bottom 4, 5, 6 feet, especially in clearer water. You know, this is one of the methods I used at Kentucky Lake that won me the Mega Bass Classic. Getting offshore and finding these little honey holes and just doing different things with this jig. Because there's a lot of big fish out here. You not only improve the number of fish you're catching, but the size of fish that you're catching. So get off and find these. Good electronics is important, and knowing how to read your electronics, knowing what's a hard bottom, what's silt. But use your map, use your electronics, and get offshore and find these areas, because these fish will stack up. And go to Kustom Kicker Jigs, check out the Red Zone football head jig, tie one on, make yourself get out and find these little areas. You know, don't be constantly banging the bank, because if you watch any of these videos with these Kevin Van Dam, you know, watch these elite bass masters, they're offshore. They're out where those fish are bigger and there's more of them. So go to Kustom Kicker Jigs, get some Red Zone jigs, tie one on, throw it around, and I promise you, you'll not only increase your catch, but you'll start making a lot more money than you are now. Thank you.